toxic masculinity.
There, is that better? I think that's better. Okay, all right. So the first story is simply about the Biden press conference. And I wanted to read the New York Post's observations about this because I think that they were very astute. So the first article is New York Post blasts reporters on the Biden press conference, suck up. Biden press conference, suck up. So let's have a look. Reporters suck up to nice guy Biden, it says here. Hold on, let me switch over to the other view so you guys can read this article along with me if you'd like. Reporters suck up to nice guy Biden. It was ridiculous. I'm sure you guys saw part of this, if not the whole thing. You probably saw clips, but they've written, this is from the New York Post editorial board, and they've written this very well. It's very well written. It's not the most popular sport, but there it was. Television networks giving up afternoon airtime to a softball match. Stonewalled for 65 days by President Biden, reporters decided that their first opportunity to question him should be used to let him monologue on his favorite topics. The Associated Press kicked things off by suggesting Republicans were obstructionists. How is Biden going to get around that? There were a number of questions about the filibuster, with the media basically begging the president to get rid of it. These weren't inquiries, it was activism. Another question paraphrased, the New York Post is paraphrasing here. They've written the question as, Republicans want to pass new election laws. Would you like to tell us how terrible that is? I love how they've written this article. It's great. One reporter, I think it's Yamiche Alcindor of PBS, asked a question about the border premised on the idea that you're a nice guy. And actually, I have been able to find this in another article. Let's go ahead and, hold on a second. I need to turn the audio on here. Give me 1 second. Oh, hold on. The least professional show on YouTube.
You've said over and over again that immigrants shouldn't come to this country right now. This isn't the time to come. That message is not being received. Instead, the perception of you that got you elected as a moral, decent man is the reason why a lot of immigrants are coming to this country and entrusting you with unaccompanied minors. How do you resolve that tension? And how are you choosing which families can stay and which can go, given the fact that even though with Title 42, there are some families that are staying?
You're a decent man. You're a decent man. That's why people are coming over, because you're a decent man. And we all know it. I mean, it's the framing of these questions is, of course, ridiculous. Could you imagine them saying something like that to Trump? Not in a gazillion years. You know, the question would be like completely opposite. How do you live with having such a dark soul, Donald Trump? Be stuff like that. All right, let's see here. The Post continues, it's shocking how the bar has been set, how low the bar has been set for President Biden. He seems confused, going from questioner to questioner, rambling to the point where he finally said, exhausted, he said, anyway. Biden was mostly monotone until weirdly hitting his old stump speech when he suddenly raised his voice. Oh, no. You gotta be kidding. Here you go. Hopefully that'll shut him up for a little while. And some of his lines makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. Also, I have no idea if there will be a Republican Party in 4 years. And come on, man. They don't really make a lot of sense. Hold on a second. Right, I apologize for that. The cat has been dealt with. What that means, I'll let you guess. All right. He said he's putting one foot in front of the other. He's focused every day on putting one foot in front of the other. And And in response to that, the New York Post has said, dream big, man. That's probably not what you should be focused on as President of the United States. Where's Jim Acosta yelling and interrupting? Yeah, for real. Where's Jim Acosta? Come on, I thought that was your job to harass the President of the United States of America. Go for it, man. All right. Biden started off with a whopper saying the United States has performed better than any country in the world when it comes to vaccines, as if Israel doesn't exist. He bragged about 200 million shots in 100 days, twice my original goal, he said, not acknowledging that the nation was already on pace to more than meet the goal when he took office. Nearly half of K through 8 students are back in in-person learning, but that's because of Republican governors, not federal policy. Biden has put no pressure on the teachers' unions, which is a huge problem. Teachers' unions are the worst. I just want to say that. I hate them. I want them all dismantled. Okay. The discussion of the border that dominated the press conference was pure malarkey, as Biden likes to say. Biden took no responsibility, pretending it was a perennial problem. Yet, Trump's remain in Mexico policy, right, actually solved the issue, and Biden threw that out on day one. In fact, it wasn't really just his remain in Mexico policy. It was a lot of different policies that Trump had implemented that Biden threw them all out because he's a moron. Well, okay, let's be honest. Biden didn't do anything. Biden just signed a bunch of documents that other people wrote up for him to sign. But whoever's in charge, they really messed up the whole border situation. Okay. Biden's other answers tried to have it both ways. Let me just read the comments real quick just to make sure that there's nothing wrong here. Yeah, we good? We good? Okay. Just making sure that you guys can hear me and everything's all good. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, let's see here. Biden's other answers tried to have it both ways. No, we won't be deporting poor, desperate people. Yes, we're not letting most people in. Well, which is it? But it didn't matter to reporters who were only interested in how people could be processed and let in faster, not anything about border security. Pull out of Afghanistan? Punt. Where's your North Korea red line? Punt. China? Let me tell you a long, long story. Barely any news was made, and when it was contradictory. Biden said he's running for re-election, but then he backtracked. That's his expectation. There were no real changes in policy for the crisis at the border, for encouraging the economy after COVID, for getting kids back into school. He said he was in it to create jobs, but no one asked about his cancellation of the Keystone Pipeline or restrictive regulations, nor did the president dare call on any reporters who might ask truly tough questions. The fundamental problem is getting people some peace of mind, Biden said. Well, this press conference did nothing to help. And I think one of the critical things here is this line here. Nor did the president dare call on any reporters who might ask truly tough questions. And a lot of people are talking about that as the real takeaway from this press conference. A lot of people think that Biden was given the questions ahead of time, or that there was some kind of conspiracy between the Biden administration and the reporters that were called upon. And either they knew what the questions were going to be, or they gave reporters questions to ask specifically that Biden had been briefed on ahead of time so that they could come up with, the best possible phrasing, the best possible answer, and then coach Biden on that so that the press conference looked somewhat decent, like he was somewhat cognitive and, with it and could respond quickly. And it looked like it was off the top of his head when in reality it was rehearsed. So that's the speculation a lot of people have on Twitter right now. I don't know if that's true. That seems totally possible. Look, we all know Biden's not in charge. We all know that the press doesn't seem to want to press him on anything too harshly. They want to make it seem like he's a really strong and great president, a really nice guy. But there are it's a devastating presidency so far. The administration doesn't seem to know what they're doing, or they're perfectly willing to do things that make the country a worse place, reduce the quality of life, reduce our financial prosperity, increase crime. Crime has increased incredibly because of a lot of the activist district attorneys, stuff like that recently. The left seems perfectly okay with reducing quality of life in America, and it should be America first. It's kind of a shame to some degree that that Donald Trump was so strongly America first, because the left hates Donald Trump so much that they seem willing to oppose literally anything that he says, any policy he has, anything. Doesn't matter how effective his policies are. It doesn't matter how sensible his philosophy is. If he has that philosophy, if he puts in place those policies, the Democrats will oppose them, which is completely crazy. I mean, America first should be a nonpartisan position. If you're a politician, your constituency, if you're in the federal government, your constituency is America, right? And you got to put your constituency first, and therefore, you should be trying to put those constituents first. You should be putting the American people first, above the rest of the world, and they're just not. I mean, Democrats are just. I don't understand Democrats. I mean, I do. I think they're all corrupt and they're all horrible and they're all liars. But people keep voting for them. I don't understand the Democrat voters. I don't understand how you can be that gullible and not understand that Democrats are criminals. But I digress. Let us move on to the second story, which is also about the press conference. Let's see here. Biden claims that Trump let children starve to death. So that's real. That's what he said in the press conference. He said that Donald Trump let children starve to death.
Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.